A very pleasant good evening to you as we welcome you to Wayne Jones Field here from Marana Mountain View as the Red Mountain Mountain Lions begin their road schedule here, and they're taking on the Mountain Lions. Chris Andriana, Kevin Derby alongside me tonight. Red Mountain TV with all the action for you. We will caution you there is a lot of weather in the surrounding areas here of Marana Mountain View High School. But Chris, we have an all mountain mile tonight. We welcome you in on RMTV, my friend.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one. The Mountain Lions for both sides are looking for a win, and they both need it. So this should be a good contest. Hopefully weather holds out and we can get this thing rolling.
For the Mountain Lions of Mountain View, they will be led by their fourth-year head coach, Matt Johnson, 11-14 in his tenure here. It's Shekinah Rigorous to kick things off, and we are underway. It's a low line drive kick taken around the 10-yard line with a slight crease. Running along the hash marks is the return man for Marana Mountain View. We'll get you that name here momentarily. It appears, though, on the return it was Josh Roman Jr. And for Josh Roman, one of those players that will do a lot of things tonight for Matt Johnson. Mountain View begin their 2022 campaign 0-2 as they take the field here this evening. They lost to their rival Marana 37-21 in the opening week, and then they turn around and play Higley 7 days later and lost to Jamar Malone and Eddie Zuby and company 49-7. Mountain Lions showing blitz. Snap is back. They dump off a swing pass into the flat, and making the reception for Mountain View was their tailback Isaiah Ramirez, and he was knifed down by the Blade. How about that? Immediately making the play was Jamison the Blade Wade, a open field tackle. Chris, great work there. Excellent ability to get to the open field runner.
Yeah, they had the right call on. There was a Red Mountain came with a edge blitz, and they got the swing pass over him, but great pursuit by the defense.
At quarterback for the Mountain Lions this evening will be William Howell. He's a junior standing at 6'3", 180, coming off a performance where he went 9 of 16 for 115 yards and a touchdown, completing just 56% of his passes. Also rushed the ball 3 times for 9 yards. That's William Howell, the starting quarterback for Mountain View. That game and those numbers reflected the results against Higley. 3rd down and 8 to the air again. They set up a screen, and the ball is maybe intercepted. Right there, making a bid for the football for Red Mountain. Jacob Sanchez, and Sanchez is there to pick off the ball. It was a tip drill, Chris Andriana, and the Mountain Lions get the first takeaway of tonight's football game.
Yeah, they were trying to run a tunnel screen, and the linebacker got right in the throw lane, tipped it up, was able to come up with it on the way down. It's a great play.
Excellent play by Red Mountain's defense.
Sudden change here. They may come out aggressive, maybe go up top.
You know, I always want to refer to the Mountain Lion defense as Kyle Ender's defense. He is listed as a defensive coordinator. Here comes Carter Crispin to the air. Jacoby Lane, wide receiver screen, and Jacoby tries to slip through a tackle, and they're going to wrap him up on the far sideline. Excellent teamwork by the Mountain Lions in pursuit of football was Isaiah Ramirez. We mentioned his name for just the second time tonight. But Carter Crispin to Jacoby Lane, first play of the game. They complete the pass and get positive yardage.
Anytime you want to get the ball in Jacoby Lane's hands, good things are going to happen. I expect to see more of that as we progress through this first quarter.
We're looking for the spot of the football. It looks like they just gave Wayne, well, I'd say that is a 6-yard pass play. So Crispin to Lane, a gain of 6. And Brian McDaniel, the offensive coordinator, I thought they were going to run the football. And here comes Lennox Lawson. Let's welcome back 1-3 of the backfield as he relocates and he's repositioned by the quarterback, Carter Crispin. Student body right. Here comes Lennox Lawson. Makes a cut. And Lennox, as he tried to work his way to the second level, got taken out. Mountain View tackler Damian Wallace, excellent pursuit at the football by the Mountain Lions.
Yeah, it was a quick toss there with a crack block scheme from the bunch set. And the defense for Mountain View was all over it. They pursued very quickly to the edge.
For Lennox, 19 totes, 226 yards with a couple of touchdowns, and he boasts the longest career rush here for Red Mountain football. 93 yards for Lennox. He did that on home on the first offensive play of the game against the Eagles from Shenandoah County. The result went the other way to those other guys. The Eagles flied high that night, beat the Mountain Lions 28-14, but Lennox Lawson set a record in the process with that 93-yard gallop to the house.
We just got a free first down there. They jumped off sides, and now they're in scoring range here. Let's see what the coach has dialed up.
Red Mountain in the red zone for the first time this evening. Working out of the gun is Carter Crispin. Snaps his hands back. And the pass to the end zone. The jump ball. The ball is going to be caught for a touchdown. Jacoby Lane leaps above everybody in that secondary. Hauls in the scoring pass from Carter Crispin. And it's the Mountain Lions from Red Mountain High School out of East Mesa drawing first blood in this road contest.
Yeah, Jacoby on the corner route was a great throw by Crispin, and Jacoby's catch radius is just ridiculous. You get it anywhere within 6 feet of that young man, he's coming down with the ball.
And that is why he is nicknamed the Inspector Gadget. He has an incredible catch radius. He could catch anything that is anywhere close to him. So it's Castaneda will serve as the holder here tonight. And, of course, it's Shekinah Rigrish, our place kicker here for the Mountain Lions. And she has been perfect thus far. 12 for 12 for Shekinah Rigrish. And at the 9:14 mark, has a chance to tack on a point here for Red Mountain. Long count, snap back, hold is down, the kick is up, and the kick is through. 9:14 to go in this opening quarter, and it's the Mountain Lions from Red Mountain High School with the early lead. Another touchdown pass for Carter Crispin to Jacoby Lane. The third time in the last 2 weeks, Chris, that they have connected. And for Carter Crispin, he now has 8 touchdowns, just only 1 interception for the Red Mountain senior signal caller.
Yeah, you can tell that second season, the polish you see in his game is definitely noticeable. His accuracy, his decision making, and his just management and running of the offense is just top notch right now. He's at the top of his game right now.
Chris, this is the second. Well, this in fact thinking here for just a moment. For Red Mountain and Marana Mountain View. This is their first time that these two teams will do the tango here in the last 12 years. Rigrish, a low line drive kick. It stays in bounds. It goes into the end zone, and that is going to be a touchback. That is outstanding kicking from Shekinah Rigrish, and there doesn't appear to be any penalties on the field. Chris, let's get you some keys to the game here tonight. On the defensive side of the ball, for Red Mountain, they want to play disciplined. They want to get off the field on third down and establish a pass rush here tonight. We saw Tanner DeMassa get to the quarterback last week. We saw Braden Kasmerek be disruptive as well in the interior. Look for those guys again to put on a show here this evening defensively.
Yeah, I think the Marana Mountain View has some athletes at the skill position, so I think they want to try to win the battle up front in the trenches, and that's where Red Mountain has the advantage, I believe.
William Howell begins this second drive with a pass play. He tries the right side, and there is Braden Kasmerek right there to get those big mitts of his up. 99 making the play, just bats that ball down, and the Tasmanian Devil doing devil things on that sequence.
Yeah, it's a great job. If you can't get to the quarterback, get in the throw lane, see if you can bat it down, knock it up in the air. A lot of good things will happen for you that way.
Josh Roman Jr., a wide receiver to the right side. Howell wants to throw. He's flushed out of the pocket. Pump fakes. Continues to roll out. Dumps a pass off towards the numbers, and the ball is going to be incomplete. He was trying to get the football into the hands of Stephen Meneby. Meneby, 6'3", 185, unable to make a play there. And surrounding him, providing the coverage for Red Mountain was linebacker Champ Jennings, number 42, down there mixing things up. And if you think that there's a flag down on the field, that is not a flag. You're seeing parts of the shoe tops, or the shoe bottoms in this case, for Stephen Van Beek, number 93. Howell works out of the gun, looks right, fires right, it's batted down again, and this ball may have been intercepted. Great work by the Mountain Lions. Again, their interior pass rush wreaking some havoc early on. This time it was Xavier Sanchez on a corner blitz, and he batted that ball down. So Chris, Kyle Ender's defense has something that they have sniffed out here, and they've got a little edge here on the Mountain Lions.
That is a defensive lineman's dream, for a ball to drop right in front of you and you'd have a chance to come up with it. I'm sure he's going to be kicking himself.
Here comes Lennox Lawson. Lennox Lawson space at the outside, down the sideline. 20, 15, 10, and he'll coast into the end zone. Lennox Lawson on the punt return, unofficially 55 yards. All kinds of penalty flags on the field. There was a little bit of a skirmish behind the play. The punter got involved with one of the blockers up front. But let's see what the flags are all about. There's a penalty marker down at the 49-yard line, and it is Lennox Lawson taking one into the end zone. See, what'd you see?
I didn't see the fracas in the backfield. It looked like they're calling some kind of hold or blocking the back on Red Mountain.
So that will negate a big-time scoring play for Lennox Lawson. Welcome back, L3. Unfortunately, this one's going to be negated due to a penalty. And there was all kinds of activity going back. I was going ISO, left the play for a minute, Chris, and the punter was giving the lineman the business.
That's something you don't see every day, Kevin.
You typically don't.
I'd like to see that on film, actually.
I think it was Brett Roberts, the inside linebacker, and he's a big boy, 6'3", 230. We saw him walking in, and he looks the part, to say the least. 8:51 to go, 7-0 Mountain Lions. They begin this drive, the second one of the night from the 37-yard line. They give it to Lennox. Turns it upfield. There goes Lennox, breaking some tackles, low on the shoulders. He takes it into Mountain Lion territory as he's finally dropped down to the turf right over the emblazoned Mountain Lion logo. And we talk about Lennox being a one-cut back. He started that run running towards the press box at Wayne Jones Field and then immediately put his foot in the ground, turned it upfield, and got big yardage.
Yeah, he has the ability to accelerate very quickly on one step, and you saw it there. He pressed the outside, waited, and was able to come through.
Gain of 13. There goes Lennox again on a dive play. Gets to the linebacker level and beyond. Excellent work there by Lennox Lawson running downhill. Preston Bryn makes the tackle for the Mountain View Mountain Lions. For Mountain View, last year they were 4-6 overall. They went 3-2 in the 5A Southern region. They were 1-3 here at home at Wayne Jones Field. They were 3-3 away from Wayne Jones Field. They outscored the opposition just 238 to 213 for a program founded way back in 1986. Working out of the gun as Carter Christman puts it into the chest of Lennox Lawson as Lennox will bob and weave and dance a jig down the middle of the field, running in between the hash marks. But one thing that we can see early on, Chris, and let's introduce everybody our offensive line, but there's great push up front by these linemen.
They're doing a great job getting off the ball right now, for sure.
The left tackle is Weston Hancock. The left guard is Austin Oz Whitney, 5'9", 215. The center is Anthony Martinez, 6'3", 295 out of Mesa. Diego Villalobos, the right guard. And then Jefferson Giles is the right tackle. Crispin scrambling, has time to throw, runs to their side, dumps it off to Lennox. And Lennox is going to make a move, and he's going to take it down the sideline. And he's going to get first down yardage and a little bit more.
Just watching the hog mollies there, Kevin. I'm watching Jefferson Giles, and when they moved into right tackle last week, he is thumping people right now. Just his play has loosened up, and he looks so much more comfortable and more aggressive at tackle. He doesn't have to worry about the center exchange, and he's playing very physical right now. I like what I see from him.
Yeah, foot loose and fancy free, if you will. He's just playing with reckless abandon at right tackle. Jefferson Giles laying the lumber on that offensive line. Trips to the far side. Crispin to the air. All kinds of time. Clean pocket. Wide open receiver. It's Jacoby Lane. And he puts this one into the end zone. Jacoby Lane will run right underneath it. And that's another scoring play. The second touchdown of the night, Carter Crispin to Jacoby Lane. And at the 6:24 mark, it's 13-0 Red Mountain. Point after try upcoming.
That was the same pass route they scored on previously. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
For Jacoby last year, 76 receptions, 990 yards, 14 touchdown receptions. And for Jacoby Lane and Carter Crispin, they have connected on 4 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks, as you hear the sweet sounds of the Red Mountain marching band here in the stands.
Yeah, you couldn't ask for a better start for Red Mountain. They seem to be humming on all cylinders right now.
Shekinah English buries the point after try. It's 14-0 Red Mountain with the early lead. And we've seen Lennox Lawson get loose. We've seen Jacoby Lane find himself in the end zone twice with really no contests. And Carter Crispin has a wealth of time to throw the football.
Yeah. The Marana Mountain View runs an unconventional offense and defense, actually. And their three-deep coverage, the corner never got far back enough to really make a play in the end zone. So Jacoby was wide open there, and it was a great throw and catch.
You're right, Chris. It was the exact play call that it was previously. It's time to thank some of our sponsors. How about What's Crackin'? Fresh local food and drinks, home-style cooking with fresh ingredients. Go visit them for a unique, upbeat environment. What's Crackin'? Here comes Shekinah Rigrish, and before she approaches the football, she's got to have the ball on the tee. The ball wasn't even on the tee, but one of my players to click, or if my impact players here tonight, I did take Lennox Lawson. I, of course, had Jacoby Lane, champ Lennox defensively, but my fourth choice tonight was Shekinah Rigrish. I thought Shekinah did a fantastic job kicking off last week and really played that field position battle to a T. Here comes Roman, angles to the 15, 10, 20, 25, and that'll be about it for the returner. That is Josh Roman Jr., an honorable mention player in the Southern region last season. For Roman, he played in just 2 games thus far, and he has 14 receptions, 406 yards for one of their talented playmakers. It's William Howell once again, third possession of the evening for the Mountain Lions.
The Mountain View offensive line presents a unique challenge in that their splits are very tight, so it's really difficult to get any kind of pass rush or penetration up the middle.
William Howell wants to run the football. They put the ball in the hands of the flyback in this case, but Carson Nowder and Caleb Heydrich have a meeting with Stephen Menaby, and that meeting is behind the line of scrimmage about 4 or 5 yards, and that's a TFL for that tandem.
And that meeting is adjourned. He was fumbling that ball as he was coming around. He never really had a good handle on it. He's lucky he didn't drop it.
No doubt about that. He did not get a good exchange there. As Tomasa shows a blitz, or at least that coverage, press coverage. It's Roman now going to take the snap. Roman's going to step through the pocket and run with it, and they're going to try to gang tackle him and take him down to the turf. There were 3 white jerseys there. Braden Kasmerick was one of those guys there. He was the lead dog in that hunt, and he takes down Roman Jr. working out of the Wildcat formation. So William Howell not on the field for this particular drive, Chris.
Yeah, it's big to see Kasmerick getting involved again. He played really well last week, and I'm glad to see him continuing to make an impact in the game.
Stephen Van Beekham down there playing the nose guard. Play fake for Roman. Quick pass, and the ball is caught, making a move and picking up some extra yardage. Was the flanker for Mountain View. That looked like it was Eros Montano. We'll double check that.
Marana really likes that tunnel screen. This is the 3rd time they've run it already, and I think they're just going to keep hammering it out until they get it to work.
Well, Chris, I saw 2-8 on that reception. I have Eros Montano. And here comes the punt. It's Roberts, the big fella, angled it to the near side for Lennox Lawson at the 40, 45, and he's tripped up around the 46-yard line. So Lennox playing tonight's game. He starts again. He took the week off last week. Red Mountain took care of business in a 35-25 victory over Desert Ridge, a much-needed victory at home for Kyle Enders. And for the Mountain Lions, we're at 2-1 record. Chandler is up next. Dylan Raiola and company, Rick Garrett, their head coach. It's Chandler and Sewell tonight on the main stage back in the Valley as the lightning showers here continue.
I'm trying to ignore the lightning. I'm just pretending that it's not happening.
Jacoby Lane has single coverage with no safety help over the top. This will be a run by Gianni Edwards. A sweep to the left side, and he'll take it across the 50-yard line into Mountain Lion territory. He'll be dropped around the 48-yard line. A nice positive run there by Gianni Edwards. And for Edwards, a pickup of, looks like 7 yards. So a nice gash there for Gianni.
Red Mountain is doing a fantastic job right now getting off the football and getting push up front. As usual, the game will be won in the trenches, and it looks like Red Mountain has the advantage right now.
Edwards 15 totes, 31 yards. Hasn't got in the box yet. Here comes Carter Crispin. Wants to throw the football, and he's going to be blitzed, and he's going to be taken down, and he's going to be sacked. It's Roberts again. Shooting the gap was the middle linebacker, Brett Roberts. 6'3", 230. He is an absolute playmaker, and you could see him right there. Shot out of a cannon, got to the quarterback, and took him down.
Yeah, it looked like Avila, as the tailback, was supposed to be blocking on the edge on that bootleg. Looked like he took a poor angle, and the Marana player made a great play getting upfield and had a big sack. So now, way behind the chains here, 3rd and long. Let's see what Coach dials up here.
Brett Roberts, 19 tackles through 2 games here through the early going. 3:08 remaining in this opening quarter. It's 14-0. Working from the 35-yard line. This is a delay to Lennox. Check it. It's Edwards. Midfield 50. Boundary 45, and he's going to be knocked out of bounds around the 40-yard line. Let's see where they spot the football. Nice delay and a great call by Brian McDaniel. And that'll be a first down. That's a chain-moving run by Gianni Edwards. And he needed about 15 yards to get the first down, and that is the best run of the season for Gianni Edwards.
Yeah, it was a nice run, great little draw play. And Marana Mountain View is playing a very deep coverage and a 3-deep shell there, so there's not a lot of guys to come up and make that play right away.
Now they work for the 42-yard line of the Mountain Lions. They go out to that wide receiver screen. There's Gunnar Moore. As Gunnar Moore gets that second level and is going to be tackled around the 35-yard line. We are at a spot here, Chris, that's just slightly above the players.
Yeah.
So we're on a low perch tonight. It's difficult to see the near markers on the field, but we will work through it. 14-0. A couple of touchdown passes for Carter Crispin to Jacoby Lane. That's the 4th time in 2 weeks that those two guys have hooked up. The deep back here is Lennox Lawson. He gets the call, breaks one tackle, bounces to the outside, cut inside, and lower the shoulder, and take the ball out in between the middle of the hash marks for first down yardage a little bit more.
It's a great run by Lennox.
Outstanding run by L3.
Stopping in the hole and then redirecting. Very hard to defend him.
And he was falling forward, picking up the extra yardage. A gain of 12 for Lennox Lawson. Inside 2 to play. So Lawson is now to the right of Carter Crispin in a 3 wide receiver set. Tavion suing out with that banged up AC joint. Is not suited up tonight. So you see more of Allen and Jacoby Lane lines up to the near side. Crispin to the air. Ball is caught. Doing a nice job of catching the football right in front of us. That is the shed wide receiver for Red Mountain. That is Julian Calvo. So Calvo.
Hammering out the kinks here.
Crispin hands it off to Lennox Lawson. Lennox Lawson sidesteps a would-be defender, and he picks up another 5 or 6 yards on that carry. It's another chain-moving run for Lennox Lawson.
First and goal here. Or actually, no, it's 1st and 10. They can still get a first down inside the 5.
Once again, the Mountain Lions enter the red zone. This will be their 3rd trip in the red zone. Here's Lennox Lawson as Lennox has the football, running hard as he picks him up and puts him down, running in between the tackles for L3. And as Chris Andriatis pointed out a couple plays earlier, Lennox just runs hard. He is a very efficient runner, and he's running with a lot of passion behind it. Final play of quarter number 1 here. Get so excited, Chris. What are we doing with our audio? Hopefully everything sounded good on the other end. Shout out to Sarah Peeper and her family watching tonight's game. And, of course, while we're shouting out, we'd like to shout out to the Enders household. Everyone's hanging out at Grandma's tonight. I think we have a brand new couch on display. So, crew, Be careful with the new couch, but Courtney, Grandma, everybody hanging out at the Enders household enjoying tonight's game. First 12 in the books. It's 14-0 Red Mountain. Back up this short timeout. You're watching Red Mountain football on RMTV. Welcome back to Wayne Jones Field. Check, check.
Check, check.
So the Mountain Lions will head towards the other end zone. Remaining in the ball game, and in the backfield is Lennox Lawson. Working out of the gun is Carter Crispin. Crispin to the air, looks left, fires left, ball is caught, and trying to make a move and losing his footing was Connor Skidmore, the tight end. And for good measure, anybody watching at home on that play right in front of us, we mentioned it was Julian Calvo. It could have been Connor Skidmore. Hopefully you can hear us at home. If you can hear us around the East Mesa area or anywhere globally,
Raise your
I
hand.
say globally, because we know that this is a global broadcast, nationwide tonight here from Marana Mountain View. But give us a holla, if you will, on Twitter, at KDB Voice, with the hashtag roll call. Where are you watching tonight's game from? It's Crispin under center from the 5-yard line. Crispin turns around, handed to Lennox Lawson, and Lennox breaks a tackle, and he's going to muscle his way into the end zone. And let's see what they mark him shy, and they will do that. They'll mark him just a little bit shy. In fact, it looked like Lennox got in as he was twisting and turning, and he was trying to get into the end zone with a little side dance, and I don't think he broke the plane of the goal line. Good work by this officiating crew. So the ball is on the 1-yard line. It's going to be Crispin. He'll take the snap, and he's going to plunge into the end zone for what would be an apparent touchdown, and that's going to be a TD. Put him up, and they do.
They were very hesitant to throw that touchdown signal up there. I wonder what they were looking at. His whole body was in the end zone.
That's a second rushing touchdown this season for Carter Crispin. And with 10:50 to go until halftime, it's now 20-0. The good guys. Red Mountain has the lead. It's been Jacoby Lane twice from Carter Crispin. And now Lennox Lawson hits in the box for his rushing touchdown. For Lennox, that's his third rushing touchdown this season. His first tonight. Shekinah Rigrish on for the point after try. Play the hole. Here comes the rush. It's a good rush. And the kick is up, and it is through. Shekinah remains perfect. She's now 15 for 15. 10:50 to the break. A new score. Red Mountain 21. Mountain Lions from Mountain View 0. Chris, everything's going well for Kyle Enders' football team. They have a chance to pick up their third win this season. Mountain View going the other direction, but we talk about all three phases of the football game. The Mountain Lions are getting solid play from their offense. Their defense is pitching a shutout, and their special teams is getting it done as well.
Yeah, it seems like everything's rolling for them right now, and the challenge is to not just keep doing the same things over and over again, but to try to work and get better at things, as this is a long season, and the Chandler Wolves are waiting in the wings. So you want to try to get some good things on film, get better at some stuff, and really work out the kinks so you're hitting on all cylinders next week.
No question about it. The Chandler Wolves there on the slate next. Here comes Shekinah, and this time she's going to kick it short. Ooh. And up to take the short kick is going to be Stephen Meneby. And Meneby is going to try to work across the 40-yard line, and that's where he'll end up, and that's going to be it. Special teams work for the Mountain Lions.
Meneby looked like a center fielder coming in there, calling people off. That was a pretty impressive catch there. He must have sprinted 30 yards to get to the ball.
Special teams The special teams by Brandon Allen making that tackle on Menabee. Let's see what Matt Johnson wants to do. We'll go back to his quarterback, William Howell. So William Howell is the QB that typically likes to throw the football. We see Josh Roman Jr. in there as well, and he's one of those guys that likes to run the football. He's worked out a Wildcat. Howell will run it. He'll hand it off and running laterally right to us.
We actually broke the huddle with 12 there. That was interesting. Normally, you break the huddle with 12 players, that's a penalty. They had an extra guy running off at the end there. Usually they don't let them do that.
That usually is a penalty. Usually one of the 5-yard variety. 10-20 go to the break. It's Howell working at a shotgun. He has 2 wide receivers to work with. Make it 3.
Marana Mountain really likes this offensive formation. They've been in it the entire game.
Long count, Howard to play fake, steps in the pocket. He can't evade the rush. He does. He gets by Damasa. Rolls to the near side, tucks it, and he'll run it, and he'll go right back to the original line of scrimmage. And that's it for Howell as he was pressured. Give the hurry to Tanner Damasa. He was providing the heat coming from the outside and just missed the quarterback sack, Chris.
And it's a really heads-up play to not go and run your shoulder through him into the sideline. Gives you a chance of getting a 15-yard penalty. Really heads-up football play, just letting them run out of bounds. Live to fight another day.
A smart play, right? Just be heady. That's what we call playing disciplined football. One of our keys to the game tonight. 2 safety look here for Red Mountain. Howell takes the high snap. And it's going to be Howell throwing the football off the middle. And it was a design run. It was a zone read. And the quarterback, William Howell, called his own number. The play was behind the action, and there was a lot of oohs and ahs because the tailback got absolutely blown up, but he didn't have the rock, Chris.
I'm surprised they're not going for it here. You're down 3 touchdowns at almost midfield. You can't really get much worse at this point. You might as well take a shot, right?
The blustery conditions pick up here at Marana Mountain View. 21-0, 9:25 to go. This is Roberts again, angles it to the near side. It's Jacoby Lane from the 25. Makes a move. Now he's going to go to the other side. Picks up a block. Jacoby still on his feet. Dances, prances, looking for blockers, trying to get to the edge. He does, and they're going to finally latch on to Jacoby and ride him out of bounds on the far sideline.
He ran 50 yards to get 3. But that was an athletic play there. My only thing would be, young man, put that ball away. Carrying it like a loaf of bread.
One of the guys in there was Vincent Polasek. Polasek, a young man that plays on the offensive line and the defensive line. Had 2 hurries last week in the team's loss. They lost that one to Higley 49-7, so they go back to Connor Crispin and company. It's Crispy Chris. Niner back on the field, staked to a 21-0 lead as they work from the 40-yard line. Crispin to the air. Ball's caught over the middle field, and that's Jacoby Lane, and Jacoby makes a nice move as he cuts left. That was a frozen road from Connor Crispin, catching the football around the 40-yard line and making a move and picking up a little yak yards after the catch. That's a big-time play there. And a huge chunk.
Hit him on the pulse route there, and it was a great throw in between before the free safety got over the top.
Gain of 40 yards, Connor Crispin to Jacoby Lane, and that combination has been lethal here early in this first half. It's Lennox Lawson to the left of Crispin. They fake it to him. Now they get the ball in the hands of Gunnar Moore. As Gunnar Moore gets a nice block, it turns it up towards the middle of the field and picks up extra yardage. But I like Gunnar Moore catching the football, securing the rock, tucking it, and then making that move and picking up extra yardage.
Yeah, it was a nice catch and throw. Was able to fight, pick up 5 yards, just swirling and spinning. Looks like we have a player down here. Can't see who it is. Looks like it's a Mountain View player.
Gunnar Moore, an outstanding game last week, 64 yards in receiving, had a touchdown for 1-5. And let's see if we can't get an idea who the injured player is. We're definitely,
from our vantage point, I don't think we're going to be able to see that.
We can't. The conditions here have picked up. It's quite blustery. And I got to commend the Red Mountain fan base. They have made it here to Tucson, about an hour and a half from campus. And a lot of people have made the trek out here on Friday night. Under the lights, great contingent here for Mountain View as the Mountain Lions, this home game. It's homecoming here And they call their student section the Black Hole. And they wear the black and silver, much like the Raiders color ensemble. But it's a good-looking uniform for Marana Mountain View, Chris.
I will not argue with that. Their uniform does look great. Yeah, not much else to highlight right now on their side.
For the Mountain Lions, they've passed for just 218 yards on this young campaign, just through 2 games. And they've rushed at 269 total yards. So they're just trying to find their way. And I think when we look at film, Chris, we talk to other coaches and doing our prep and have meetings with the coaches during the week. The idea is that, well, we're not sure what Mountain View likes to do, but we do know this, that they appear to be a little bit unsound on how they play, and so we've seen some of that inconsistency here tonight.
They're a little bit unconventional, and sometimes it's hard, based on a couple games of film, to really figure out what their philosophy is defensively.
True.
It seems like they have 2 freelancing linebackers defensively in the middle, and they kind of just fill gaps, and the rest of the guys make them right. Mm-hmm. And they're playing basically with 5 DBs, 2 corners that are pressed up, and then 3 deep safeties. It seems to be the alignment that they're in.
One of those guys that's playing freelance ball is Roberts. He looks pretty good doing so. So we will work from the 25-yard line. Snap back, naked boot. This is Crispin. Dumps it out to Gunnar. Gunnar with speed to the edge. And Gunner's going to take the ball inside the red zone and finally get popped out of bounds. But he'll take it to what looks like to be the 10-yard line. And another great route by Gunnar coming across on that crossing route. And a good bootleg there. Great call by Coach McDaniel. The execution even better.
Yeah, it seems like their outside linebackers are rush players and not really concerned with backs out or tight ends out of the backfield. And he just did a one-step turn, ran an arrow, and hit him in stride, and a great play there.
That was a gain of 15 yards. Crispin to Gunnar. And the ball is on the 10-yard line. Crispin to the air. Looks left. Jump ball for Jacoby, and that would have been a one-handed catch. I think Jacoby got away with a little shiver there, a little push as well, a little separation from Jacoby. Not necessary for him. That ball was thrown to where only Jacoby could have caught it. I like the pass by Carter Crispin. Even though they didn't connect, I like the play.
It was a good throw, and I don't think I'm qualified to be able to say what pass interference is because, you know, watching college and NFL games and other high school games, it's really in the eye of the beholder.
Yes, would agree.
Contact, no contact, doesn't turn around, turns around. Who can tell?
Those guys down there watching the game. This is a run play for Lennox Lawson, and Lennox dips that shoulder and tries to bend in as he's trying to fight his way towards the goal line. Another powerful run there by Lennox Lawson, and I know my broadcast partner Chris Andrietas is trying to ignore the lightning, but the lightning is right there. It's right there, so it's very difficult to ignore the lightning when it is. It's lighting up our table. Let's be honest.
Yeah, when your hair starts standing up on end, then I'll be concerned.
That's a fact. That is a fact. All right, here we go. This is 3rd down and goal. The ball is.
They're going to take a timeout. I've noticed that Lawson is running really, really physically tonight. He's really getting after it and lowering his shoulder on people.
How about violence? He's running with some violence tonight.
I'd say he's running angry.
Angry's good.
And he is definitely delivering some punishment out there. And this is a whole new facet to his game that we have yet to see so far. So
for sure,
it's encouraging to see this.
For head coach Matt Johnson, this is his 4th season with Mountain Lion football. The Silver and Black ran 63 total plays with 11 first downs and that 49-7 loss to Higley. Mountain View was penalized 8 times for 56 yards. For the Mountain Lions, they return 11 Lettermen from last year's squad, including 8 starters from the 21 team. And just a year ago, the Mountain Lions had 17 players receive postseason recognition, 5 All-Southern Region players, plus 12 honorable mention recipients.
Well, it's 3rd and 3? 3rd and 3 here. Let's see what Red Mountain has dialed up. I would imagine they're in 2-down territory at this point, but who's to say, especially with these windy conditions.
It'll be 3rd down and goal from the 5-yard line. Crispin works out of the gun. Snap is back. Looking left. Here comes the pressure. And he's going to dump it off in the flat to Lennox Lawson. And Lennox Lawson is just going to walk into the end zone for a touchdown. And Lennox just kind of flipped the football to the defensive back, but he just spurned for that 5-yard touchdown reception. That is the 4th touchdown pass for Carter Crispin in the first half.
Yeah, that was a little back out in the flat. Easy peasy right there.
Here comes Shekinah English on the point after try. And the snap is back, the hold is down, and the kick is good. 6:36 to the break. It's 28-0 Red Mountain. Carter Crispin with 4 touchdown passes. Check that. Crispin to Jacoby Lane twice. Crispy Crisp to Lennox Lawson. And then Lennox has Crispy. That's it. It's 4 TDs for Carter because he rushed one in.
Ran one in, yes.
There you go. So for Carter, he now has 37 touchdown passes in his career, and he has 2 rushing touchdowns, and he has accounted for 4 touchdowns. There you go.
I think you could say that he is, to steal from Reggie Jackson, he is the straw that stirs the drink.
I like it. He is indeed the straw that stirs the drink. If you could say that. There's no drinking here other than Aquafina. Proud sponsors of Red Mountain football. Shekinah English from the 40. Reaches it again to the far side, and that ball is up, and it is going to be caught by Angel Rodriguez Martinez, the 5'8" junior, on the receiving end of that.
So for those of you watching at home and you're wondering why is he trying to boot it through the end zone, I think you have a couple factors. One, you have wind, and 2, I think the thought process, because Red Mountain does this quite often, Coach Barge, the special teams coordinator, if they see someone that doesn't look like they can feel the pop-up kick, they're going to kick it to them and see if they can make them drop one.
So they stereotype the ability of the opposition. Can they catch the ball or not catch the ball?
Usually if their number starts with a 5 and is 2 digits, that's the guy they usually aim for.
They pick those guys. It's a numbers game. Here comes William Howell again. He's going to come back with it on a zone read, and that's a nice play there by William Howell. Nice patience for him as he brought the ball back and then kept it himself and then just ran right up the middle for possibly others. That is a 9-yard run for William Howell, arguably the best offensive production in this first half here for the Mountain Lions.
When I watched their film from the previous games, his athleticism stands out on film. He can run. Unfortunately, he's running for his life a lot of the time with the protection issues that they have up front.
Working from the 43-yard line, 11 totes for 50 yards before tonight's game. Snap back. He's going to dump it off into the running back's hands, and there's nothing doing for Tevin Manning. Tevin Manning gets blown up in the backfield. Carson Mouter at the Mike Backer spot there. He too running downhill, cross angles, and just takes out the ball carrier.
They're close to. If I'm not mistaken, have they gotten a first down in the game yet?
I can't recall any first downs. Chris Andriatis.
I think they're looking for this one here. Let's see if they have something dialed up.
That was a 2-yard tackle for loss by Mouter. Dump it in the flat. Here comes Vasquez. Vasquez is going to be grabbed and taken down. Nothing doing. No gain at all. Champ Jennings was over there. Also there for the Mountain Lions was Emma Dayton, the free safety, coming down from a safety position to make a nice tackle there. That might be another loss, Chris.
Yep.
The white shirts are literally swarming in the football, and there's no opportunity for the Mountain View Mountain Lions to really work to any kind of space. They haven't been able to find any openings at all, and they have no blockers to work with either.
It was a good call. Red Mountain came with a blitz. They were able to get it out to the back in the flat. You know, he's got to win those one-on-one matchups, and unfortunately didn't work out for him on that one.
Here comes Roberts. This one's shanked off the side of his foot. Penalty marker back where the punter punted the football. Lennox Lawson won't have a chance to return this one. 4:33 to go till halftime. It's 28-0. It's been all Red Mountain here tonight.
Flag in the backfield. Let's see what it is.
Just for good measure, a shout out to the Enders watching the game from their brand new couch at Grandma's house, and of course to the Peeblers, Aiden Peebler, Mr. Peebler, Mrs. Peebler.
That's the second time you mentioned the couch. It must be one heck of a couch.
I don't know. I mean, I just heard about it. That's inside information on the couch. I don't know if we're supposed to reveal that, but
Are we talking
we were
leather?
excited. I got that from Chloe, of course.
Is it
Chloe
fine
Anders.
Corinthian leather?
I don't know where they got the couch, Chris. Creative Leather, maybe.
Uh-huh.
And if they did get into Creative Leather, they probably spent a mint on it. And that's okay.
imagine.
Comfort is everything. You know, that's a really great point. I picked up a couch during COVID. It took me a long time to make that decision because the couch is quality of life. You got to make that right decision
You absolutely do.
when you pick out a couch. Robert's back to the kicking game, but before he can get it away without any legal infractions, we have another
I don't think they
flag down.
whistled it in. You got too excited.
Once again, let us know where you're watching tonight's game from. Hit us on Twitter with the hashtag.
Well, Kevin, I've always heard
Roll call.
you never skimp on mattresses or shoes because you spend most of your life in one or the other.
That's classic. Yeah, I agree on shoes. Shoes the big deal. You got to be comfortable.
Absolutely.
Are you a Birkenstock guy? Are you a Croc guy?
I'm a Olakai. I have a number of Olakais and Sperry as well. I'm a big
Sperry.
guy, yeah.
All right. I don't have a
When I
pair
go
of Crocs.
yachting.
That's exactly right. Well, that's a great point. You know, you talk yachting. Let's just give our good friends a shout out, right? Let's do it right here. Century Marine, bringing families together on the water since 1979, specializing in new and used boats for all of your water needs. That is Century Marine. How about a huge shout out to Chuck's Fine Meats, Parker McClure's dad. By the way, Mr. McClure, if you're listening and watching tonight's game, I'll take that gift box in the press box
Oh, there is?
at Chandler
Oh.
next week. Right? Chandler is on the road.
I can tell you that Chuck's Fine Meats are exactly that, and everything I've had there has been absolutely top notch, and the quality and the skill that he cuts the meat with is just fantastic.
I believe you wholeheartedly. Chuck's Fine Meats, quality meats for all of your grilling needs. Family owned, located at McKellips and Power. Great people and great service. Continued proud sponsors of Red Mountain Football. All right, here we go. Finally, the Mountain Lions get the football back, and it'll be Carter Crispin working out of the pistol. He's got Lennox Lawson. He's the deep back, about 5 yards back. They give it to Lennox. He makes one cut, makes a man miss. He glides up the middle of the field, and there he goes. Lennox is off. It's a penalty. 40, 30, 20. 15, 10, 5. That'll be a touchdown for Lennox Lawson.
It was apropos that the lightning struck as he was running because he is lightning tonight. Put his foot in the ground, got it to the outside. He actually juked the safety about 10 yards away from him and took off down the sideline. That was all she wrote.
65-yard scoring run for Lennox Lawson. We had mentioned and boasted a couple days earlier, I thought Lennox Lawson would have 200 all-purpose yards tonight, and he just put one in the end zone from 65 yards away to house one, and the Mountain Lions back in the end zone with 4:09 to go to the break. It's 34-0. Here comes Shekinah English to try to make it 35.
Now Coach Enders has the thought process of when do you start taking guys out and resting guys. You would hate to see anybody get hurt in the 35-0 game right now, but you still want to work on things. So the balance of figuring out who stays in and who comes out is always a challenge for a head coach.
For Lennox, a rushing touchdown for L3. And for Lennox, now his 19th touchdown he's accounted for, playing in his 27th game as a varsity player for the Mountain Lions this evening. Of course, his brother Lance scored 69 times. He accounted for 69 touchdowns in his illustrious career here. One of those numbers, it's 14 at some point down the road. Love to see him hang that one up.
Yeah, I mean, Lance played varsity football for 4 years, so a lot of opportunity. What a phenomenal athlete and football player.
No question.
You know, played a lot of different positions for us. He was just a great football player. Still is.
Here comes Shekinah. It's kicked around and followed by Tariq Booker. And Booker's going to get bullied, and they're going to take about 5 jerseys, and they're going to punish him down to the synthetic turf.
And the first hit was his own teammate as he turned around, looked back to block, and ran into the returner.
How about the guys on special teams hustling down there? Gianni Edwards, among others.
The unsung heroes, right?
Carter Crispin has found some solid chemistry here with Jacoby Lane. They've hooked up a couple times tonight. Carter Crispin, a quarterback sneak for another touchdown. Lennox Lawson has scored once this evening, and it went for 65 yards. And you see Kyle Heap starting to get loose here with Carson Mauder. So you might see Mauder, and perhaps you'll see Kyle Heap maybe begin the second half. Perhaps the ones will get one more drive in quarter number 3. This is going to be Roman Jr., the Wildcat quarterback, running free far sideline. 30, turns the corner, and he's finally going to be tripped up, and he'll just coast out of bounds. And that, Chris, is the most productive run of the night.
That's the first down. I think they might have found something there. That was a heck of a run. He's a big, strong quarterback, and he was able to put a nice run together there and get them moving.
Proud sponsors of Red Mountain Football, Dr. Corey Giles Family Dental Care, continued proud supporter of RM Football and Go Lions. The Giles always so supportive of our broadcasts each and every year. Appreciate the Giles and their contributions for Red Mountain Football. Great fans, great parents, good people. Quick pass outside and nothing doing. More pressure coming in, but this time Josh Roman Jr. not able to make a play when he's sitting on your keister, Chris.
No, it's tough. A lot of pressure in his face. He did get the ball out, and the receiver just couldn't get his hands on it.
So with 3:26 to go in this second quarter, blustery conditions remain. 35, Nada, Mountain Lions. This is the 6th meeting amongst these two programs. First time they played each other in 12 years. Chris, you remember the score of that last game?
I believe it was 41-0, if I'm not mistaken.
I put you on the spot. That's not fair. It was 33-0 right
close.
Back in 2010. In 88, they won 28-7. Mountain View got back, and 5 years later they faced off. Mountain View won 24-10. And since then, it's been the all-black and Cardinal. Pass complete outside, making the reception is Justin Holguin.
He's just short. It looks like they're going to mark him just short of the first down.
But I like the play there for Matt Johnson's football team. There's a quick tempo, quick hit.
Yeah.
And for Roman, he just got rid of the ball, in a timely manner. As you can see,
and they're
the
going.
replay of Lennox Lawson's touchdown run as the offensive line get it down. By the way, on that touchdown run, Lennox did a lot of damage right up the middle. So you got to credit Anthony Martinez and company. And I don't know how far down Jefferson Giles went, but that right side, Diego Villalobos and Jefferson Giles doing a nice job here this evening. Again, that has been a move. Wholesale changes on that line, Chris, and I tell you what, that was impressive work by the entire staff getting things done. Brian Thomas and company, just great coaching in the room, and then the facilitation and then the execution is just outstanding.
Yeah, there was a great job there by the defense on that last play. They did a stem at the last minute. One of the offensive linemen flinched. And, I don't know if they moved them back. They're moving them up. But that's interesting because I did not see anyone break the play into the line of scrimmage.
Neither did I. But that is the first down of the night for Mountain View.
That is an interesting call. I wonder if they got their signals crossed there.
Somebody's had something crossed up tonight, that's for darn sure. As the wind picks up. If you get through this game, I'm sorry, beg your pardon. Were you talking again?
No, go ahead, Cliff.
No, because if you talk in the microphone, I can hear you almost all the time.
I believe this is the Lightning call because they seem to be heading inside.
Oh, is that what's happening?
It looks that way.
Oh, no. With 2:49 to go, this game has been suspended due to weather. And that'll be something that we've got to deal with here. I would assume it's at least a 30-minute weather delay. If that's the case, we would play. We'd come out here 30 minutes from now, probably take a 15 to 20-minute warm-up, only to play 2 minutes and 49 seconds to go to the break. So it's a tough time. Perhaps they'll go to halftime here and then play that 2:49 in 30 minutes. That's what I would do.
That's really at the discretion of the head official. That seems to make sense because they were at a stopping point and it was 4th down, and it looked like they were going to be punting it anyway. Or actually, no, they had just gotten it first on a very interesting offsides penalty that didn't seem to happen.
That was a phantom call, CA, one of those phantom calls. We're going to take a break, and we will do our best to keep things together here. We're experiencing a weather delay here in Marana Mountain View High School. 2:49 to go in the second quarter. It's 35-0. You're watching tonight's game on Red Mountain TV. Back up at the short timeout. else? Lennox.
2 to Jacoby, 1 to Lennox.
That's 3.
And ran 1 in himself.
That's 4.
And Lennox had that other run.
Lennox has 2 touchdowns.
Lennox has 2, Jacoby has 2, Crispin has 1.
Can you hear me?
Can
you hear me? Really. Can you hear? Now I can hear myself really
good.
Yeah,
but that's too loud. That's why you're coming through so loud on the broadcast.
But see, I need to be able to hear it.
But oh, we're going to the second half, so they just scrapped it. Oh, that's interesting. I don't think that's what the officials are doing, though, because the ball's spotted.
That is not.
Somebody better get the announcer back on track there. Are we broadcasting? Oh, we're live.
High School here in Marana. Kevin Derryberry alongside Chris Andrianos, the real Andro. Check him out on Twitter. And yes, we appreciate the interaction.
Thanks for sticking with us, folks.
On Twitter tonight. Sarah Peeler can hear us. That is excellent.
I am not sure what's happening right now. It seems like they're about to pick up where we left off in the second quarter, but the announcement's made and they put second half up on the scoreboard. So either we're going to play the last 2:49 of the first half, or we're going to skip it and get to the second half.
Chris, we're going to skip it. They've already put up 12 minutes on the Longstream scoreboard. It's 35-0. Red Mountain has lead. If you join us late, Carter Crispin connected with Jacoby Lane twice in the first quarter to make it 14-0. As Shekinah Rigrish converted both PATs. He was perfect throughout the first half, 5 for 5. 17 for 17 now for Shekinah. Lennox Lawson broke free right up the middle, then broke it outside for a 65-yard gallop to the end zone. He also received a touchdown pass on a swing pass from Carter Crispin. So CC has 3 tutties tonight. He's also rushed one in, a 1-yard sneak, much like, Drew Brees back in the day for Carter Crispin.
I'm thoroughly confused right now, Kevin, because the ball is spotted and the teams are out there and it's first down. But they're saying it's a second half, so.
Yeah, it is unusual. Usually in the beginning of the second half, Chris, you would see a kickoff.
Normally,
yeah. This is different.
They do things different down here in Tucson.
It's when the most.
Oh, here we go. Now we're back up. It's 2:49.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. When the most impactful place you can visit on this route is the Picacho Peak Dairy Queen.
Oh.
Then it's just.
How many dips do you get on a cone at Dairy Queen, Kev?
Oh, I'm not a big dipper, to be honest with you.
I'm a triple dip guy.
Triple dip.
Triple cherry dip, baby.
I go butterscotch if I had to choose one. For those of you that want to pay attention
Very
to that.
cosmopolitan.
All right, here comes Benaby. Makes a couple guys miss.
Yeah, that's some hard running, twisting, turning, twirling.
That's what they did. They put 2:49 on the Longstream scoreboard.
So we'll see if the Red Mountain Lions can hold strong here and keep them out of the end zone to wrap up the half. Always tough when you've been sitting in the locker room for 30 minutes. A lot of distractions.
6-yard run for Stephen Menaby. They snap it back to the quarterback again. That's Josh Roman, and he finds some running room on the far side.
Yeah, I think
Chris, you played tackle football. How difficult is it to do the start-stop routine?
It's awful. It's although it's not quite as bad as early as a coach in my career. We actually had the power went out in in the stadium we were playing in, and we had to come back and finish the second half the next day. That was brutal.
That's not cool.
No, and our tailback couldn't play because he was so beat up from the night before.
Well, now working left to right, there goes my card, and that is not good.
Fly sweep coming at us here, or go up top to you guys at home.
That is Tariq Booker. For Book, 6', 160, running right at us here on the near sideline. Final 1:45 to go to halftime. It's still 35-0. This is after a 35-minute lightning delay. We welcome back our viewers from East Mesa and our global viewing audience tonight. Kevin Derryberry alongside Chris Andrianos.
Yeah, this is interesting here. We'll see if they dial up something. A little razzle dazzle.
Roman Jr., the quarterback, the zone read in effect, faked the give, elected to call his own number, the keep, if you will, and then try to pick up a couple of extra yards right in the middle, but ran into that teeth of that Red Mountain defense and a host of white shirts in there to snuff that play out.
I would imagine they're in 2 down here. There's less than a minute left in the half. So they, ideally you want to get half of it back and have a manageable third. See what they got.
I'd like to see a pick 6. Roman Jr. to the air. Swing pass near side, nothing doing. Pass complete to Stephen Manabe. Manabe, a big boy at 6'3", almost 200 pounds, but you don't see a lot of 6'3" tailbacks.
You do not. Maybe Eddie George might be the last one that I can think of.
Eddie at 6'2". We were trying to think of 6-foot running backs last night. Eddie George, good knowledge right there, out of Ohio State, out of the Ohio State University.
How tall is Derrick Henry?
He's in that. We mentioned Derrick Henry. Okay. Outside of D. Henry. That'll be the final play of this. It should be the final play of this first half.
I don't think they're going to get this one off.
As Matt Johnson's club trying to get the snap off 3 seconds ago, 2 seconds ago. Now they take a timeout. Matt Johnson took the timeout from the far sideline. Had a great conversation at the break with Braden Kazmarek's dad, talking a little baseball, some high school football. Of course, Braden's brother, his older brother, played at Desert Ridge back in the day. We were reminiscing about one of the most incredible plays we ever witnessed at the high school level. It was the raid at Muni when Kyle Rady took one away from one of the Husky bats there at center field at Phoenix Municipal Stadium way back when. I want to say Municipal really fast right there and struggle with that, Chris.
That's a tough one. Doesn't really roll off the tongue, does it?
Municipal Stadium.
It's a terrible name for a stadium.
Here's offensive coordinator Brian McDaniel with a conversation with backup quarterback Kyle Heap. You get the idea that Kyle is going to get some action in half number 2 in the on your roster, and you never know what tomorrow will bring.
I imagine we'll see Roman on the move here. Last play of the half.
Great clockwork, 1/10 of a second.
And I was
pass is
completely wrong on that.
Pass is drifted outside to Tariq Booker, making the catch is Booker at the 20-yard line.
And that'll be the half.
Over there for Red Mountain. Defensively, Xavier Sanchez.
You didn't really need that anyway.
I did. One of those cards I really did need.
Oh, that's a bummer.
It's halftime here. Marana Mountain View trails at 35-0. We'll pay some bills. You're watching tonight's game on RMTV. Back after the short timeout.
Interesting bounce there, Lennox.
Here comes Lennox from his own 5-yard line. Lennox to the outside, and Lennox is going to be chased from behind and finally brought down on that return. Short timeout, and that was the shortest halftime I've ever been a part of in my career here at Chris Andrianis. It's 35-0, 11:51 to go. And for Red Mountain, the chance for them to punch one into the end zone on this drive, it would make things a heck of a lot easier for a lot of us and get us into that running clock situation. It'll be Kyle Heap to take the snaps.
I would like to applaud the Marana Mountain View AD and administration for making the call. It's their homecoming, but it's a great call to get this game going because you never know what the weather holds. So their priorities in the right place, and I applaud that.
I don't disagree, Chris. Can you imagine if I said I disagree?
Hey, you're free. It's a free crunchy, brother.
I can't get on board with that, Chris. No, you're absolutely right. They've done a fantastic job to keep things together. They had to sacrifice their homecoming festivities tonight at the, really at good sportsmanship. So it was a classy move by them.
Definitely.
When Red Mountain had to make the trek here south. So Kyle Heap will be the quarterback here in this second half. It's 35-0. Lightning continues to strike in the surrounding areas, but it is 10 miles away from what we gather. So a clap of the hands, and here's a reverse. This is Gunnar Moore to the outside. Gunnar trying to get to the edge and picks up a block at the 40-yard line. He's going to pick up extra yardage after that block, and he'll take it to midfield and beyond. Gunnar Moore on the reverse. And an easy play, nice call by Coach McDaniel, but the execution flawless by the Mountain Lions.
I was really impressed with Austin Whitney out there pulling, getting a block on the edge, finding another block as he redirected. That's some really tenacious offensive line play from Mr. Whitney there.
And now the red-headed wide receiver will take himself out of the ball game, and he's continuing to flex that lower extremity here. For Kyle Heap, he checks into the ball game. This will be his second game he's appeared in tonight. And there's Kyle running with the football. Kyle to the outside, and a penalty marker comes in as Kyle Heap got hit pretty hard out there in the open field. But Kyle's showing you some of that athleticism that he possesses, Chris.
He's definitely got some wheels on him. We saw that in his appearance against Sandra Day a couple weeks ago. I think they're trying to highlight that.
Kyle Heap, 5 of 9 for 47 yards, completing 55% of his passes. Has yet to throw a touchdown pass here this season.
That's going to be a hold against the Red Mountain Lions.
I asked you, a former player at Virginia Tech, Chris, and former head coach, and certainly been on the sidelines for Red Mountain. But the challenge of the starting and stopping, the getting up, it's much like a relief pitcher. You get loose 3 or 4 times, and by the time you're actually going to come in the ball game, you've already thrown 60 pitches in the pen.
It's very hard to stay focused. A lot of distractions, a lot of things to think about, and none of it's the game. So it's very challenging to keep your focus. But it looks like they're keeping the offensive line starters in for now, which is a good move. And try to establish consistency with that group.
Kyle Heap over the middle of the field to Cannon Skidmore. Cannon, our backup tight end and long snapper on this group. His brother Gage played here a couple years ago. I got a Gage Skidmore story for you here. We'll get to it in a second.
We used to call him Skidoo. My nickname for him was Skidoo.
Remind me of a story about Skidoo. Here goes Jacoby Lane in motion. Kyle Heap, deep ball, has a wide receiver there. His ball is slightly on the throw, and the ball is intercepted. It's picked off. The Mountain Lions come up with their first turnover. Allen was the intended target.
Yeah, it's a tough play. Ball up in the air, and I was thinking if Allen could have got his arm through there, the tie would always go to the offense. But, yeah, it was a tough throw there. The wind is pretty brutal down here.
Yeah, the wind might have had something to do with that throw. It was left a little bit short.
As you can sure hear, our mic's picking it up. But see what the defense can do. I see some new faces in on D.
How about Isaac Haney? Number 49 is checked in. Also, big number 9-0. And now we'll check in at the defensive front. Marquise Stevens, the nose guard, 6'1", 260. And it has to be this way. Before we can continue play, we have another timeout taken on the field. 9:26 to go in the third quarter. It remains 35-0. Gives us a chance to tell you the Gates Skidmore story. So I believe it was 2 years ago, out of a timeout, the Mountain Lions run a perfectly executed tight end screen right over the middle to Skidoo. And he took it to the house. It was a touchdown play, outstanding play. And it was called back due to a penalty. Mm-hmm. And then we find out after some digging
that they actually ran the wrong play, but it worked. It worked for a touchdown. And so I remember that about Gage. I always thought he had a chance to, get a little bit more involved from that tight end perspective, but it didn't work out that way. But good kid, and his little brother's here, Cannon Skidmore. They'll go back to the starting quarterback. Here comes William Howell, and William Howell's going to try to make a play, and he's going to have his lower ankles grabbed and take it down. Good work there. Good technique by one of the newcomers there for the Mountain Lions. Well, actually, I think that was Jamison the Blade.
And this is a great experience for these younger kids, these backups to get in and play. And this will pay dividends for them down the road as getting meaningful varsity experience.
Menabee, the ball carrier, runs right up the middle.
Yeah, I enjoyed coaching. I got to coach tight. I was tight end coach when Gage was with us, and he was a very good player. He had excellent ball skills for a big man.
How about Stephen DeShong III? Very active on that last play. The Mountain Lions try the middle again, and there's nothing doing.
I've never seen that. He had the ball, he was on his knees, and he was trying to crawl away. That's a new one.
Jamison Wade looked like he was active on that play. Also, down there in the trenches, David Duchesne, a senior defensive player in there. And here comes the punter for Mountain View.
It's a good stand by the Red Mountain defense, getting a stop here. Let's see if they can get something going in the special teams game.
Here comes Roberts in punt formation. Back deep is Jacoby Lane. And Roberts gets this one. Nice punt there. Retreating, and that is Gunnar Moore. Gunnar Moore back on the field looking for some daylight, and he'll take it out to the 35-yard line, and he gets dropped there. Nice work on special teams by the Mountain Lions. One of their playmakers, that was Gavin Lindsay, a defensive back. For Lindsay, just 5'7", 168. Last week, he had a catch for 19 yards and a touchdown in that loss.
I see Jacoby Lane out there.
Jacoby is on the field with Gunnar Moore, so Gianni Edwards will be the single setback.
And it looks like we see a new defensive look here from Mountain View.
So Jacoby's going to give way here. Oh no!
Oh, they're going to take him out.
So Bodie Wagner will check in. Jacoby will sit down. Gunnar Moore, he has a little hitch in his giddy up, and he will sit down as well. So Kyle Heap had a chance to play with the ones for a moment until they came out of the game. Running game, it's Edwards, and Edwards running with some authority, running down the middle of the field right between the hash marks. And I like the way that Edwards was holding that football on his chest, high and tight, as you said last week.
Two hands, sure. Yeah, the worst thing you could do is cough it up in your own half of the field. It's a great job of ball security.
It is beyond challenging at this stage to hold all of my papers down. Unless we knew every single number on that side, on the silver and black. Edwards again.
Oh, he's
huge hole up the middle as he got to that second level. And right now, Gianni Edwards finding a lot of running room there in the middle of the football field.
And this is a new offensive line group, it appears. I see a lot of new numbers in there. This is really promising to get these young guys experience, and for them to have success is even better.
It'd be nice to tell you who they are, Chris. We'll tell you. Give us a chance. One of those guys in there. I see Gabriel Romero. He's on the twos.
Yeah, he's in at right tackle, I believe.
Snap back to Heath. They run it to Edwards again. He goes right back behind that right guard once again. And paving the way is that right side. Once set up there by Jefferson, Giles, and friends. JG on the sidelines collecting his breath now. Final 6:13 of this third quarter. Another touchdown by the Mountain Lions here would be helpful.
I was wondering where you're going with the ones. I thought you were going to break into some Lionel Richie for us.
Snap back to Heap. He's going to roll out to the far side. Pass complete. And I would just like to, let's try this. Let's maybe do this.
You can't see the struggle,
you can't,
folks.
You
You
can't.
can't imagine
Thank
the
you.
struggle right now. While Kevin's dealing with that, we'll get the Red Mountain offense back on track here. Oh, they get him to jump off sides, and it's a free 5 for the Mountain Lions.
How about Gianni Edwards running the football downhill, working on that right side? 65. That is a starter, I believe. Yeah, it's Joshua McElroy, and he plays on the twos as well. So McElroy is one of those guys getting some extra playing time tonight. Skidmore's in the backfield. Snap back to Heap. He throws over the middle field, and the ball is incomplete. He was looking towards the slot, and running down the seams was Rigdon Mills, the junior, dropped that football. But good delivery and a very well-thrown ball by Kyle Heap.
It was a good thrown ball. You got to remember, you get excited, you get a first varsity catch. You want to run and score a touchdown, but you got to secure the football before you can go.
So it'll bring up a second down at 10. Ball is spotted on the 28-yard line. Snap back. It's Edwards again, working right. And a nice job as Edwards continued to run very low to the ground, but running with some authority and delivers a little punishment as he finishes the run.
Yeah, that was a nice run there. They found something that's working for them in the run game, and they're going to keep hammering it, I think.
McElroy getting it done on the right guard position. Again, it's Heap working out of the shotgun. Wants to throw this time. Looks left, and he throws, and the ball is caught. Again, that's the tight end, or in this case, that is Rigdon Mills, the junior wideout. Don't have a position listed for Rigdon, but a nice catch there. They go right back to that same play, and that's an easy throw for Kyle Heap to complete.
Yeah, it looked like the linebacker had a sniff of it, and he just able to get it past his outstretched arms into Rigdon's hands.
That's a gain of 9 yards. Kyle Heap to Rigdon Mills. There goes the action man. Man in motion to the right. That's James Krieger. To the air again, and that ball was thrown just behind Rigdon Mills. Working down that seam and looking down the seam was Kyle Heap.
Yeah, he was able to avoid that rusher, set his feet, and get the ball off, and unfortunately just put a little bit behind him.
That time the target was Julian Calvo. When you get the white shirts on with the silver numbers outlined in the Cardinal, it is a very, very tough look and tough see from the press box here. 3:53 to go. The only thing better than the 3:53 would be if the clock was moving. Here comes Gianni Edwards with a sweep to the right, and he was running laterally, then cut off his move, turned it upfield, and there were 3 black shirts waiting for him. So nice run again by Edwards, a positive, productive run. But this time the linebacker core there to take out Gianni Edwards. Nice defense this time by the Mountain Lions.
Yeah, the numbers are tough. Our spotters are definitely earning their money tonight.
Kevin Manning, one of those backers, getting it done. 3:23 to go, clock moving, 35-0. The Mountain Lions with a lead in the red zone again. The Mountain Lions appear to be 4 for 4 and scoring. And there's a rifle pass to the slot.
Gotta love the slant against an outside leverage corner. Works every time.
Brandon Allen running a little slant route, and Kyle Heap delivers a strike. Beautifully thrown ball by Kyle Heap. That'll be a touchdown for the Mountain Lions, and it's now 41-0. And the clock continues to roll now. Yeah. So here comes Shekinah Rigrish. So it's Kyle Heap to Mr. Allen. Brandon Allen, point after try by Rigrish is good. Our new score is 42-0. Now we will be playing the remainder of this game under the AIA running clock. And Chris, we come back to Marana Mountain View. This is my first visit here. I don't know about yourself, but for Tom DeMassa, longtime Red Mountain football coach, this is a really interesting night for him to come back. For Coach DeMassa, he has a history here inside this stadium. And take you back some almost 20 years ago, Tom DeMassa was the head coach of the Dobson Mustangs. They were playing a playoff game here at Marana High School, at Marana Mountain View High School. And Tom DeMassa's dad was a fan in the stands. Just before halftime, Coach DeMassa had come up to his dad in the stand and said, "Hey, I love you, Dad, and we'll see you in the second half." Little did Coach DeMassa know at that time when he came back in the second half, he might not have a normal conversation with his dad ever again. His dad was in cardiac arrest. Coach DeMassa came out, performed a CPR on his father. The paramedics came, medical attention was trying to resuscitate Mr. DeMassa, and make a long story short, and it was unfortunate, but it would be known that just a short thing of Mr. DeMassa. And for Tanner, that was his grandfather. Tanner was in his mother's womb here inside this stadium almost 19 years ago, we mentioned, Chris. So you think about it, it's a challenging night for Coach DeMassa, very emotional, but at the same token, Grandpa DeMassa's looking down tonight watching his grandson play the game that he loves, and watching his son coach. And football was tradition rich in the DeMassa household.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can tell, very emotional night for the family. Like you said, he's watching down tonight, and things like that make you realize that this is just a game, and that there are things that are a lot more important. But if you can see it through the lens of football, it just makes it that much better and more special.
No doubt about it. Whatever brings you together, right? It doesn't matter what the bond element is, just whatever brings you together. Family element, and football has been and shown so much and has galvanized so many. Any walk of life, you can get the idea of 11 on 11, what it means to be in a team and within that team environment. But for Tom DeMassa, a great man, good family man, and we certainly appreciate his devotion to Red Mountain football, and thinking of him tonight in this stadium, no doubt about it. 42-0, final 16 to go.
I think he might be the old head on staff here. He's the longest tenured coach.
I
believe.
do agree. Ball's on the 49-yard line. William Howell over the middle for a 10-yard completion. Howell back to throw. Here comes the pass rush. Deep ball down the field, and ball is incomplete. He had a wide open Tariq Booker, and that ball was just misfired. Final play of quarter number 3. We move to the fourth and final stanza here from Mountain View High School in Tucson. It's 42-0. We will play the final 12 minutes under the AIA running clock.
And
ball will stop inside 2 minutes.
That's significant, having talked to their AD during the lightning outage, that once 3 quarters are in the books, it is actually a sanctioned game. And if lightning strikes up again, the game will count and the score will stand, to my understanding.
That is correct. I do believe I picked up that same vibe from their AD. Unfortunate for Mountain View on homecoming 2022, they weren't able to perform and see their festivities unveiled tonight.
It's really cool when you think about how many other groups and activities center around these Friday night games. You have the band, you have the cheerleaders, you have audio-visual people, you have a whole manner of kids around the school. The whole community really gets behind these games.
Absolutely.
And it's tough when they don't get to come out and showcase all their stuff, but you can't control the lightning, Kev.
Mother Nature intervenes here tonight in
does.
Tucson. All right, back to work now, working from the Mountain Line 49-yard line. The ball is just placed in Mountain Line territory. It's William Howell, shotgun snap. Slings the pass near side, and the ball is caught. And he's forced out immediately. Nice catch by Justin Holguin. Good coverage by Red Mountain. In there, mixing things up, was Stephen DeShong III over there playing sideline to sideline. Nice defense there by the Mountain Lions. Mountain Lions are going to get it done. They will be 3-1 after tonight's game.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the ground game here.
Boy.
Here's Howell again. Howell running with a head of steam along the numbers is finally going to pick up about 12, maybe 13 yards before he was taken down by 5-0 Jacob Redwing with the tackle for the Mountain Lions, but not before William Howell just gassed off about 12 yards. The quarterback showing you the athletic prowess that he plays with.
Yeah, he got moving pretty quick there on that play. They must have somebody lost their gap, and he was able to punch through it.
Ball now on the 30-yard line. They go to Benaby, and Benaby turns it upfield, and he is running very well to the outside. Finally take it down, but another productive run. That's another 12-yard run for the Mountain Lions. In this all-Mountain Lion contest tonight, Red Mountain has the commanding lead 42-0 with 10:28 remaining and a running clock. Mountain View trying to pick up their first win of the season. They're 0-2. They look to start their campaign in 2022 0-3. And William Howell continues to work out of the gun. He'll run it to Benaby again, right up the middle, breaking a tackle. That's a spin towards the goal line. He's going to be stuffed there as the Mountain Lion defense will stand him up after a positive 4 or 5 yard run.
I thought for sure that ball was going to pop out. He was kind of flailing his arms around as he was going down with the ball in his hand. Something for Red Mountain to look for. Maybe pop it out and force a fumble here.
Coach Enders wants to take a timeout with 9:50 to go in the third quarter. How about Lucas Wilson, 4'8", in there defensively, sticking his helmet in there, putting a hat in on that play. CA?
Yeah, there was a good stick. Wrapped him up, and like you mentioned earlier, Menaby's a big boy. So you better bring it when you come to tackle him because he is quite big.
We're talking about 6-foot tailbacks, Eddie George for the Tennessee Titans. Boy, I remember opening week 1 week against the Raiders. He went for 207. And you're thinking, boy, I don't know if he can sustain that. But I tell you what, he is a beast of a man.
I actually
underrated.
I actually played against him in a JV college football game. He was at Fork Union Military Academy, I believe.
Of course.
And we played them, and we being the JV of at Virginia Tech, and he put on quite a show at tailback.
I bet he did.
Yeah.
At Fork Union Military.
I believe
That's right there. I've got a lot of stuff, a lot of gear.
Really?
No, I don't, Chris. Come on.
No, there's some pretty big names that have gone there.
All right, here we go. This is Howell. Rolls to the far side. He's going to try to dump a pass into the near pylon. It's going to be incomplete. Good work there by William Howell.
So we'll see if the Red Mountain defense can hold here. It's third and I believe they can still get a first down, Kev, because the markers are still up. So it looks like inside the 2-yard line would get them a first.
This will bring up a 3rd down and goal. Or at least a 3rd down and 2, if you will. 9:11 to go. It's still William Howell back there working out of the gun. He brings his wide receiver Booker in motion. Here comes the pressure. They run it up the middle, and there's nothing to it. Again, the defense stands tall. They stand him up, and they take him down to the turf with no gain.
So does Mountain View go for it here? I would imagine you would at this point. You've come this far. Or do you try to get points on the board?
The 3 points, maybe it looks sexy in the box score, but it's not going to look good anywhere else.
I don't think 42-3 looks very sexy on the box score.
So Howell has 2 backs, one to his left, one to his right. Tevin Manning to his left. It's Manning here. He gets the call, and Manning's going to be denied. But he will pick up the first down. It's going to be 1st and goal to go, Mountain View, from the 1-yard line. A nice little run there as you can see a little shiftiness from the tailback, Tevin Manning. 5'8", 190, just a junior. When you think about that size, Chris, 5'8", 190, close to 200 pounds, continue to work on his game. He looks like has a chance to be developed to be a player next year.
There is definitely something to be said for an undersized or a short running back. I think of Darren Sproles back in the day. It's hard to find him behind a big offensive line. Ooh, that was a smack right there.
And it is going to be the tailback, Manabe this time. The 6'3" runner gets in as he breaks a tackle. A couple of hand slaps in there, maybe some attempts to strip the football. But he breaks the plane of the goal line and punches one in at the 7:38 mark. It's now 42-6, point after try upcoming.
And the clock is no longer running at this point.
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is?
It is indeed. It will continue to run until we get inside 2 minutes, I believe. Point after try upcoming here. Snap back, the right-footed kick is absolutely good. Big leg there by Nicholas Kornacki. the senior place kicker, another 6-footer here. You got to figure that some of these guys might play double dip, play a little hoop. That's some two-sport athletes out here for this Matt Johnson coach football team.
I don't know how many basketball guys we have on the team here. It's an interesting question. I'm going to find that out. I'm going to talk to Coach Lemon this week, see what I can find out. You love to see the multi-sport athletes, which is becoming a rarity in this day and age, and I can say that Red Mountain definitely encourages guys to play multiple things.
How about a shout-out to our guy, Double H, Seth Barron, watching tonight's game in the comfort of his own home. Seth Barron is recovering from that torn ACL. Seth, my man, thanks for checking in. We're thinking of you. I do recall practice time in Thousand Oaks, and you were demonstrative out there. Seth Barron was going to be a playmaker for this football team. That is a devastating loss for Coach Enders and for all of us associated with Red Mountain football. We'll definitely miss Seth Barron, but we're praying for you on a speedy recovery. And thanks for watching tonight's game, my friend.
We wish you well, and can't wait for the comeback story next year.
And it's just like that. Let us know where you're watching tonight's game from. Hit us at KDB Voice or The Real Andrew. This is going to be Lennox Lawson. Here comes Lennox with a chance to return this kick. He is the leading kick returner in the 6A conference at 40-plus a clip for Lennox. All Lennox does is give your team a chance to make a play. He's a legitimate home run threat every time he gets the rock in his hands.
Absolutely. He is a special football player, and like you said, very explosive. I'm surprised he's still in the game.
Coach, I got to be honest with you. I'm not sure who's responsible for what responsibilities as far as who's supposed to play, but I don't know that I'd be taking Lennox's helmet and I'd be relocating it right about now.
The old Thurman Thomas.
Or just, I don't know if Thurman was concussed back in the day, but so NFL for a second, we were talking about the Arizona Cardinals, the Cardiac Kids, the win they had in Vegas last weekend.
Yeah, that was a surprising one for sure. And I was actually watching a story about the Bills and the Thurman Thomas thing where
four-time losers.
Yeah, he claimed that there was some production people that were in the vicinity of his helmet right before kickoff, and somebody may have swiped it.
Really?
Yeah.
This is a new conspiracy, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can corroborate.
You buying
that,
it? You
25
buying it?
No.
That's the machine gun out there, Jim Kelly. A lot of charisma for Jim Kelly. Began his career in the USFL, right?
Yeah, he played at Miami.
Yep.
And I went to the USFL.
Houston Gamblers.
I believe you're right.
Here's Gianni Edwards sweep to the left side, and I really like the way that Edwards is running the football tonight. His career best evening for sure for Gianni Edwards. Clock rolls inside 5 to play. It's 42-7. Here from Wayne Jones Field in Tucson, Arizona. Kevin Derryberry alongside Chris Andrianos. The Real Andro. Hit him on Twitter, and then you can catch me at KDB Voice. Hit us with the hashtag roll call. Where are you watching tonight's game from around this great state 48 and around the globe? So we go back to the Kyle Heap in the ground game, and Edwards has his number called once again.
I got to give a shout out to Doug Diedrich, who just chimed in, and wherever you're watching, buddy, hope we sound good. Hope you're enjoying it. And yes, the quarterback is a helmet fixer. It's something that we would notice on film when we would break down our opponents.
Bobo, E.J. Malik is checked in at tailback. He is to the right, and now he's going to be moved to the left of Kyle Heap. 4:01 to go. Snap back. This is Kyle Heap. Design run, and Kyle Heap is going to be bottled up and taken down. Short of the line to gain.
Not much happening there, and I was just about to sing the praises of this backup offensive line. I thought they were really doing a good job getting off the football, and did not get it done right there.
How about Double D, Doug Diedrich? Great dude, instrumental in our success in the 019 run.
Absolutely.
And you talk about a guy that came in and knew how to coach and teach and develop young people on the offensive line. Boy, that was a challenge when we lost Double D.
Yes.
Guy that played on Sundays, too, brought so much. How about that punt by Carson Mauder? Mauder hangs one up. And there's nothing doing at all for
That's a great
Josh Roman
tackle.
Jr.
That was Xavier Sanchez looked like making the tackle.
If that was indeed Xavier Sanchez, the X-Man down there, Caleb Heydrich, how about that special teams group? That's how you teach it. You hang it up there, and you run down there like the Dickens, and you get in there and you make a play. And there was no return for Josh Roman. Anybody put down the numbers in tonight's line score, no return. We'll take that every time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was great coverage.
3:06 to go. It's Roman again at quarterback.
They're in their favorite formation.
They run it,
Say their only formation.
and there's nothing to do it. Breaking a tackle in the backfield. Here comes the cavalry, and it's Deshaun the third leading that charge. Chambers the ball carrier. Nothing doing there for double force. Another TFL for this defensive front for the Mountain Lions.
Clock continues to run here, so we're getting close. Kev.
Look at the size of 97 Jackson Griffin. That's Jake's little brother. That's right. That's Jake's little brother. Pass fired over the middle of the field. Ball is caught. Good handwork there by Damian Wallace. 6-foot sophomore corralling that one in. Good zip on the delivery of the football by Roman Jr. And that's a chain-moving throw and catch for the Mountain Lions.
Yeah, they're fighting the clock right now, so they're going to have to get into a hurry up. Oh, and you're just going to give them free yards there.
So you wondered why Malik Bobo came into the ball game. Well, Gianni Edwards is getting some first aid here on the bench. They're working on his lower extremity. I don't know if it's his right leg or his left leg. So Edwards getting some first aid. And that'll be 1st and 5 after the penalty. 1:57 to go.
All
Deep
in the
ball.
air. Oh,
Here's
he's got him.
sideline.
Oh, wow.
Well, wide open Gavin Lindsay. He was well past the secondary.
It's the second time they've missed tonight on those deep throws. Something for them to work on going forward, though.
Clock rolls at 1:40 to go. Jacoby Lane thinking about playing a little defense, but they're going to keep him on the sidelines. You can see Jefferson Giles to the left. He's holding his helmet in his right hand. And here comes the quarterback again. It's Roman Jr. to midfield. And you can see some white shirts on the hustle, chasing the man down. Great work there by, it looked like 48 for Red Mountain. Once again, LW, Lucas Wilson on the hustle. Tracking down the quarterback and tracked him down, locked him in, and took him to the turf.
Yeah, it's good hustle. You like to see guys get in their pursuit lanes, and he did a great job there tracking him down.
58 seconds to go. And the ball is dumped out in the flat. The ball's
Is
incomplete.
that a fumble? Oh, they blew it then. Yeah, that was Griffin getting the pressure there with those long arms. He, what year is Griff? Is he
Junior.
He's a sophomore.
Sophomore.
Yeah, so he's got some growing to do. But if he's anything like his brothers, he will be a very big boy in the next year or so.
How about Nicholas Horrocks? 33 for the Mountain Lions. 6 foot 175. The sophomore wanted nothing to do with the defensive secondary of Red Mountain on that last play. 19 seconds to go. That should be our final play of this football game. If they take one more snap,
And I don't think they're going to. I think they're lining up to shake.
that's going to do it here. Our final score here from Wayne Jones Field, from the home of the Mountain Lions, from Marana Mountain View. The Mountain Lions from East Mesa, 42-7 winners. Red Mountain, the victors here tonight, and they improved to 3-1. And for Mountain View, they fall to 0-3.
Great win tonight. Great setting the stage for next week's battle against Chandler. And to my knowledge, everybody came out healthy, so it's a win in multiple ways.
Let's see if we can't get a score from Chandler and Saguaro before
I'd
we
be
part
intrigued to
ways.
hear that.
That would be interesting, to say the least. The handshakes commence here at Wayne Jones Field. We would like to mention to all of our family here at Red Mountain High School and the fans that made the trek here to Tucson tonight, safe journey home, especially for the fans that are still listening to tonight's broadcast. And we thank everybody for sticking in with us tonight it's been our pleasure to bring tonight's game for you.
We appreciate it. Tell your friends. Spread the word. And Saguaro already had a loss this year to the Bergen Catholic Crusaders coming out of New Jersey. I've always said that my home state had some strong high school football, and looked that way earlier this year for sure.
Carter Crispin had accounted for 4 touchdowns tonight. He had 3 touchdown passes. He also snuck one in from a yard out. Lennox Lawson had a 65-yard touchdown run, the dash for the cash once again by L3. And he also had a receiving touchdown. Jacoby Lane, 2 touchdown receptions. Great defense. They only allowed 7 points. It was late against the 2s and the 3s.
Yeah.
And Red Mountain, on a business trip here in Marana, they took care of business.
They certainly did.
They pushed around the 5A conference's Mountain Lions, but in this all Mountain Lion contest, the Black and Cardinal are victorious.
You know, as I'm watching here, Kev, I would never, think to call you a paper pusher, but you kind of look like an accountant right now who dropped his briefcase with all these papers you're chasing around.
I was just looking for the right documentation. We'd like to thank Maxwell Vokun, Jeremy Stevens, all of our fellows that participated in tonight's broadcast. And we also like to thank you, the listener and the viewer at home. For my broadcast partner, Chris Andretti, I'm Kevin Derryberry. Great physical health, accompanied by lifelong mental health, is what we all strive for. Remember, it takes one conversation to make a difference in someone's life. Our final score, Red Mountain 42, Marana Mountain View 7. Until next time, so long for now. Good night.
Good night.